ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடுங்க. ஐ மீன் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகிடுச்சு, இந்த செஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடுங்க.
Vanakkam, Namaste, greetings to all. Welcome to the World Peace and Harmony Meditation Group. Every day we are doing meditation for World Peace and Harmony at 9 a.m., 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. UK time. I would like to mention that we can be proud that we have achieved 773 days of daily meditation 3 times a day, for which we are grateful to all those who contributed to this achievement. Today, first there will be a meditation by Nandini Jagadishwaran Master from Melbourne, Australia, with a calming music. After that, our guest speaker, Harris Devda, will deliver a talk on the topic spirituality and consciousness. There will be a summary of Harris' speech in Tamil language by Kumarasamy Pillai Master from Sydney, Australia. Thereafter, question and answer discussion session will take place in English and Tamil. Now, I will invite Nandini Jagadishan Master to conduct the meditation. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Greetings to you all. அனைவருக்கும் எனது பணிவான வணக்கம். உறங்குவது போலும் சாக்காடு, உறங்கி விழிப்பது போலும் பிறப்பு. பிறப்பு தூக்கத்தையும் பிறப்பு தூங்கி விழிப்பதையும் போன்றவை. Death is like sleep. Birth is like awakening from sleep. An enlightened person will see the sleep and death as same. Once you lose the fear of death, you will see the highest potential of your life. Nothing can stop you achieve your life purpose. Meditate to enlighten yourself. Meditation should not be regarded as a learning process. It should be regarded as an experiencing process. You should not try to learn from meditation, but try to feel it. Meditation is an act of non-duality. The technique you are using should not be separate from you. It is you. You are the technique. Meditator and meditation are one. There is no relationship involved. இப்பொழுது புதிதாக இணைந்தவர்களுக்காக தியானம் செய்யும் முறையை கூறுகிறேன். சுகமான இருக்கை ஒன்றை தேர்ந்தெடுத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள். உடலை தளர்வாக வைத்துக் கொண்டு தலையை மட்டும் நிமிர்ந்த நிலையில் வைத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள். தியானத்தின் போது தொண்டை வறட்சி ஏற்படாமல் இருப்பதற்காக இளம் சூடான நீரை தியானத்துக்கு முன்பும் பின்பும் அருந்துவது நல்லது. தியானத்தின் போது நமது உடம்பிலிருந்து சக்தி எதுவும் இழக்காமல் இருப்பதற்காக கை விரல்களை ஒன்றுடன் ஒன்று இணைத்து மடி மீது வைத்துக் கொள்கிறோம். கால் பாதங்களை ஒன்றன் மேல் ஒன்று வைத்துக் கொள்கிறோம். கண்ணாடி அணிந்திருந்தால் கழட்டிவிட்டு கண்களை மெதுவாக மூடிக்கொள்கிறோம். இப்பொழுது உங்களது இயல்பான இயற்கையான சுவாசத்தை கவனிக்க தொடங்குங்கள். எண்ணங்கள் தோன்றினால் அவற்றை விலக்கிவிட்டு மீண்டும் உங்கள் சுவாசத்தை கவனிக்க தொடங்குங்கள். The goal of meditation is not to control your thoughts. It is to stop letting them control you. Please drink plenty of warm water before and after meditation. Sit comfortably, interlace your fingers, cross your legs, and close your eyes. Do not open your eyes for the next 30 minutes. Please observe your normal, natural breath. There will be a gentle background music to relax your mind. Thank you. Now the time to express our gratitude. I am grateful for this beautiful day. I am overflowing with happiness, joy, and gratitude. I am grateful for who I am. I am thankful for everything that I have. I am grateful for my beautiful life. Bless the universe and receive the blessing from the universe. Now, slowly bring back your awareness to your physical body. Place your both hands over your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly open your eyes and clap your hands for the wonderful meditation you have done. Thank you.
Thank you. We thank everyone who took part in joint meditation. When we meditate jointly, it helps to generate a social force that spreads across all nations and around the world. Our sincere thanks to Nandini from Melbourne, who has conducted the meditation, and for the calming music by Darshini Udayaraja from Liverpool, UK. And we also thank everyone who took part in joint meditation. Thank you. We would also like to thank PSSM Tamil Europe, PMC TV, which is part of PSSM Global. May the whole world be blessed with peace, harmony, and prosperity. Valha Vaiyagam, Valha Valamadan. Today, our guest speaker today is Mr. Harish Devda from Scotland. Harish has been meditating for over 25 years. Mr. Harish particularly interested in exploring ways of using mindfulness in his daily life. Harish's background is in management training and coaching, and his interests are traveling, photography, watching movies, music, walking, cooking vegetarian dishes. Today, Harish is going to deliver the speech, Spirituality and Consciousness. Thank you. I invite Harish now. Thank you, Harish. Thank you. You have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Can you all hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can I share a file, please?
Yes, definitely.
So, okay, so there it is. Can you see my file?
No, you should share the screen first.
Yes, okay. Okay, just 1 second.
Yeah.
No, but the file is not here for some reason. Let me open the file. Now I can share the screen. I don't seem to be able to share my PowerPoint presentation for some reason.
Can you send it to me? I can do it if you want.
Yeah, let me.
Is it in the WhatsApp or?
No. It's a PowerPoint file.
Oh, so I don't know whether I can do it. Anyway, you can carry on. It's all right. It doesn't matter.
No, but I need the information in front of me.
Oh, I see.
There's quite a bit of information. Let me just. Okay, just give me 1 second. So I share. Oh dear. No. Let me open my PowerPoint file. Okay, and now I'll go back to Zoom. I think I should be all right now. Yes, I've got it. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
PowerPoint screen?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can see clearly. Thank you very much.
All right, that's okay. So, firstly, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Raja for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be here. And, every time I come to speak here, I learn quite a lot as well. So thank you for that opportunity. So today's topic, as Mrs. Raja said, is spirituality and consciousness. not a not a very easy topics, but I'll do my best to do the presentation in such a way that we can all understand. But anytime, if there's a moment in which you do not understand or it's confusing, please raise your hand. I don't mind me being disturbed, and I'll do my best to answer any questions. So, what are we going to do in this presentation? So I'm going to be just exploring what spirituality is, what is being spiritual is about. How do we become spiritual? And just very briefly, what spiritual materialism is. I see this quite a lot. To me, that's not being spiritual at all. It's ego-led. But we will explore this a bit more. And then I'll then jump on to consciousness. What is consciousness, and how do we become conscious? That's a very, very important question. And sometimes there is confusion around what consciousness is, because there are different ways of looking at consciousness. And finally, and briefly, I'm going to attempt to see a connection between spirituality and consciousness, and that's very important. They go together, in my view. So is there a connection, and how do we maintain it? That's very important as well. And then finally, if we have time after this, I'll show you a 4-minute video on consciousness, if we have time. If not, I'll send a link to Mr. Raja, and he can pass it on to you all. So, what do we mean by spirituality? I'm just trying to get this screen on the, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Right. So spirituality is a recognition of a feeling or sense of belief that there is something greater than ourselves. For us to be spiritual, we have to have something greater than us. Something more to being human than sensory experience. I mean, we all have sensory experiences all the time, or quite a lot of the time. And also that we are part of a divine or cosmic nature. That's much, much bigger. But our spirituality actually helps us to connect with that. Now, signs of spirituality can include asking deep questions about topics such as, who am I? Why am I here? What is suffering? And what happens after death? One of the biggest fears, I believe, human beings have is annihilation through death, that we do not exist. But if we go deeper into that, it's nothing more than egoic thinking. Our ego doesn't want to die. Also deepening connections with other people. That's very much part of our spirituality, that connection. And in my view, that connection starts with the family, our spouse, our children. And that, it's a wealth of experience that we get when we connect to our family members. And we can then take that experience, transcend that to other areas of life. Experiencing compassion and empathy for others. Putting ourselves in other people's shoes, how do they feel? We may not be able to do much, but at least we can send them prayers. We can ask whoever is the higher power to lessen their suffering, like what's happening in Ukraine, for example. It suggests that there is something greater that connects all beings to each other and to the universe itself. So that's getting really deeper into that. And what once, my personal view and my personal experience, And you know, we are still learning. I mean, you know, it is a journey. It's a never-ending journey. But it's a nice journey to have, I think. Is that you know, we are kind of connecting. That connection with people and places is so important. All right, what else about spirituality? Well, I mean, you know, there are lots of benefits, really. I mean, I don't mean egoic benefits as such. You know, one of the worst things we can do is to sort of say to ourselves and other people how spiritual we are. No. As soon as we do that, we become unspiritual. Spirituality is much deeper than that. And it just, I suppose it shows in our actions, in the way we think, in the way we empathize, and so on. So spirituality has been a source of comfort and relief from stress for many people, I believe. While people use many different paths to find God or higher power, research has shown that those who are more religious and spiritual and use the spirituality to cope with challenges in life experience and benefits to their health and well-being, which is amazing. You know, spirituality is good for our health. It lessens the pain. It may involve religious traditions centering on the belief in a higher power. And I think this is where I would see the distinction between religion and spirituality. That religion can be a starting point unless we get stuck in lots and lots of rituals and don't go further and become egoistic that, oh, my religion is better than yours. And we see this around us quite often. And there have been wars waged amongst groups of people because they think that their religion is better than the other people's religion. That's not what spirituality is. And history is full of that. Spirituality is much deeper than that. I was thinking about this actually before this presentation, that spirituality is like a very powerful root of a tree. And out of that root, branches grow. So there are different religions, but the spirituality itself is common to all the religious traditions we have. So from the root, it becomes a trunk that's solid, on which the branches emerge. So research has shown that those who are more religious or spiritual and use the spirituality to cope with challenges in life experience. And I think that we've all experienced this. I certainly have. That, you know, when I'm going through something, in my meditation, I do a short prayer and say to the higher power, please help me. And I find it very, very helpful. I personally believe, this is a personal belief, that I was talking to someone and the person said to me that he's an atheist. And we had a conversation, and of course he had his views and I had my views. I felt that often when we have that kind of atheist beliefs and attitude, we lose the plot. Because they think that thinking is the be-all and end-all of everything. I think it was Descartes, the philosopher, who said that I think, therefore I am. That's not true, in my view. We go deeper into spirituality. You know, there is much more beyond our thinking, and therefore we are much more than our thinking. We are much more than our personality. We are much more than our ego, which is a false sense of identity for me. Okay, moving on. Are we all doing all right? Or am I just talking to myself? Just put your hand up.
Yeah, yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So people might, well, what are the signs of spirituality? Well, quite a few in my view. Asking deep questions about topics including suffering or what happens after death. I suppose one of the tests is that when we see all those images of, recently, people suffering in Ukraine, for example, or if there's a disaster in India or Bangladesh or parts of Africa, and we see those people suffering, you can sense the suffering on their face. How do we feel? If we feel connected to them and want to try and help, even if it's just through a prayer, God, please look after those people who are suffering in Ukraine or Africa or wherever. Or if we can go a little bit further and send a few pounds to whoever is collecting money to send them food. And so on. This could be the test. It's not about broadcasting how much money I'm sending to Ukraine. No. It's a personal thing. As soon as we try to broadcast these things, the ego takes over. How good I am because I'm sending money to charities. No, that's not what spirituality is. That's spiritual materialism, which we'll briefly touch upon. Connecting with other people, including family, at a deeper level. And I think that, as I said earlier, we start with the family. Whatever problems we go through, we resolve the differences. Otherwise, it's very sad because many things begin with our family. Experiencing compassion and empathy for other people. For example, those affected by war, experiencing feelings of interconnectedness. I remember once my wife and I were walking. We lived in Sussex, and we were walking out, sort of early evening walk, and we see this guy, homeless guy, sitting on the steps of a church. And he said, "Oh, give me some money." And we had a very quick chat. And I said, "No, we can't give you any money, but we can give you some food." So we went further with our walk, and we saw a fish and chip shop, and we bought some chips, put some salt and vinegar, and bought a cup of tea and brought it back to him. And we sat on the steps as well, and we started talking to him. And this guy turned out to be so interesting. We were just listening. He was a teacher. And then for some reason he started drinking. And his mother threw him out and he became homeless. I mean, it was quite a moving experience, really. Okay, so experiencing feelings of interconnectedness, feelings of awe and wonder about the world or universe. Now, think about how do you feel when you see a child smiling, a baby smiling, or you see a sunrise or a sunset? To me, that's connectedness, really. Being in awe and wonder about the world, seeking happiness beyond material possession and external rewards. Otherwise, we get carried away in this materialism, which kind of stops us developing. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong in having money, okay? It's the way we use the money, the way we make the money. Seeking meaning and purpose of life at a personal level, personalize it. Wanting to make the world a better place, or simply shine your corner, as Buddha said. Let's shine in the corner. Helping our neighbors. Doing something for children, etc. Okay. Now, how do we get in touch with spirituality? Often the question is, well, what do I do? What do I do at the practical level? I don't want to think very much about spirituality. Okay, breath work. Be aware of the breath. We do this in meditation. Meditation or quiet time, being alone. Prayer or contemplation. service to the community, or voluntary service. I do a little bit of voluntary work, meditation group I have, and one or two other things from time to time. Spending time in nature, or even move to a rural area. Sometimes people say, I had this sudden urge to move out of big city and live in the country. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot be spiritual by living in the country, okay? Long time ago, someone said to me that you can meditate in the middle of Piccadilly Circus and find peace if peace is within you, or if you develop peace within you. So spending time in nature, I find this very, very useful. Retreats, training programs, and of course, yoga. So that's spirituality, and let's talk about consciousness now and see how they connect with each other. So what is consciousness? Well, one way of looking at it is that it's the relationship between the mind and God, whatever God means to you, or the relationship between the mind and the deeper truths that are thought to be more fundamental than the physical world. It's like, we can access our consciousness now while you're listening to me and I'm speaking and I'm in your presence and you are in my presence. Okay, so there's a little bit further than thinking. It's the observation of our awareness. That's one way of looking at it. Or awareness of awareness, if you like, if you know what I mean. So the three, someone said, I think it was, I've got the reference later. The first is functional awareness and response. So the three meanings of consciousness here, okay? We are aware and we are able to respond. Psychologists will explain it this way. But going a bit deeper, the second meaning is subjective experience, and it's only available from the inside, what we feel. Like the example of looking at the sunrise or the sunset, or a baby smile, newly born baby smiling. That's a subjective experience, and it kind of moves us inside. They are not words. We don't have to say anything. Or a loved one looks at you without saying anything. That comes from inside. So it's the subjective experience. And the third meaning is explicit, of self-conscious awareness. And it's only present in human beings. So it's going quite deep. Okay. There are so many different ways of looking at this, and I had a job narrow it down when I was preparing for this. Just let's see what other people, experts, have said this. Now, a guy, who wrote the book in 1901, would you believe, Cosmic Consciousness. I haven't read the book, but I did a bit of research and came across this particular guy. Said that distinguish between three types of consciousness: simple consciousness, which is awareness of the body. I think we briefly mentioned that, possessed by many animals rather. Self-consciousness, awareness of being aware, that we are aware, possessed by humans. And cosmic consciousness. Now, this is going quite deep into this, and if you got experience of transcendental meditation, or if you read or watch video, I can send you a link by Brahmrshi, who obviously invented transcendental meditation. He talks about cosmic awareness, which is the sort of kind of ultimate awareness. Almost in an enlightened state, connecting with higher power, as I understand it. And that's a very interesting area, but it requires quite a bit of practice, etc. So according to him, consciousness, awareness of life and order of the universe possessed only by humans who are enlightened. You know, sometimes when we read a book or listen to a video and someone is saying something, Eckhart Tolle, if you know Eckhart Tolle, is one of the examples, I think. I like the guy because he doesn't prepare much. What comes out is from his innermost part, probably his consciousness. So enlightened beings do that. Now, can I just say that we don't have to wait for a number of lifetimes, if you like, to become enlightened. We can slowly begin to become enlightened using some of these things that we've been talking about by internalizing. Okay. Another guy who's very interesting is Ken Wilber. And he said in his book, The Spectrum of Consciousness, a comparison of Western and Eastern ways of thinking about the mind. Wilber described consciousness as a spectrum with ordinary awareness at one hand, ordinary awareness that we are aware about what we are doing, what we are touching. That's at one end, and more profound types of awareness at higher levels. In other words, awareness of awareness. Now that's going quite deep into consciousness, but we've all experienced at least a little bit of all these that we are talking about here. So what about characteristics of spiritual consciousness or intelligence, some people call it? This guy called John Mayer, Department of Psychology, University of New Hampshire. And some of the psychologists are interested in some of these areas. Other psychologists are not. They're just interested in clinical psychology. And they do their work, help people, etc., etc. But other people want to go deeper into that, in my view. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but this is my view. So what are the characteristics? Capacity of transcendence, to transcend, experience something that passes the normal limits, or the ability to achieve that. At the beginning of the session, it was said that, you know, we go into the non-dual realm when we meditate. That's when meditation becomes really, really interesting, because we are able to divert our thoughts through our breathing, etc. So capacity for transcendence, the ability to enter into heightened spiritual state of consciousness. We can see now how spirituality and consciousness are connected. The ability to invest everyday activities, events, and relationships with a sense of the sacred. Another way of explaining, I suppose, is that, you know, it's the purity within us that we bring out. You know, for example, doing something without expecting anything in return. Not even massaging our ego, how good I am because I'm helping this person. No. Let's go beyond that. Ability to utilize spiritual resources to solve problems in living. Let me give you one example. We had a property in London, which thankfully we have sold now, and the freeholder was such a pain. It's a long story, and making life difficult for us to sell. Charging enormous amount of money without doing any work, etc., etc. We took a legal route. We didn't succeed. Then decided not to spend more money. And both my wife and I, we prayed and sent metta, love and kindness, to this person. for a while, for a long while, wasn't it, Clemencia?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this happened as a result of that, but suddenly something happened. He shifted a little bit. And that little bit shift gave us a chance to sell the property. We spoke to the estate agent, said, listen, reduce the price, whatever you need to. Within, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks, we sold the property. Thank God. There's so many issues. Sorry, you saying something?
Yeah, with him. No,
Yeah, so many issues with this guy. We wish him well. See, when people are nasty, it's the personality. They're living in the realm of personality. I think, and therefore I am. The ego takes over. It's just the way it is. When people go deeper, they suppress that personality issues and ego. Okay, so ability to invest in everyday activities, events, and relationships with a sense of sacred, the ability to utilize spiritual resources to solve problems in living. Listen, living is not easy. Buddha said that samsara will teach you to be who you are. So be with that, embrace that, and find a way forward. The capacity to engage in various behavior, or to be virtuous, to show forgiveness, to express gratitude, to be humble, to display compassion. These are kind of, in a way, qualities which will help us to be spiritually conscious. So we can see how spirituality and consciousness, they come together. And this guy is saying that when I think spiritually, I think less of heightened intelligence and more of a heightened consciousness. The idea of spiritual consciousness stems from the possibility of structuring consciousness through meditation. So important. Contemplation and other means, so that it focuses on oneness. Transcendent states and ultimate concerns. We are connected. If we really go deeper through meditation and so on, we are connected not only to each other, but to the universe. Rumi said that we are not just a drop in the ocean, we are the ocean. Yeah, please. Go ahead. Ask a question.
Prabhu Master,
The last paragraph there.
Yeah.
When I think of spirituality, I think less.
Sorry.
I switch on video. When I think of my spirituality, I think less of a heightened intelligence.
Yeah.
And more of a heightened consciousness. I didn't understand. I didn't understand that.
I think the moral. I mean, yeah. Go on.
Because
what you was
on the thing it says headline spiritual consciousness stroke or intelligence. So you are increasing one relatively. Is it automatic or I didn't understand the sentence relating to the heading.
Not the intelligence in the normal meaning of intelligence. Yeah, using going beyond that. Beyond that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. It's a kind of.
Got it.
It's a kind of, beyond thinking. Think about beyond thinking.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. So through meditation, contemplation, and other means, so that it focuses on oneness, transcendent states, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is experience that surpasses normal limits of the ability to achieve this, away from our thinking. Now, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, I was watching his video. I mean, I didn't want to show the video to you, quite a long video anyway. He's very interesting. And for those of you who have been involved in the transcendental meditation, he talks about 7 states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, sleeping, transcendental consciousness, cosmic consciousness, which is going well beyond God consciousness and unity consciousness. So the God consciousness helps us to achieve this unity consciousness, which we briefly talked about, connecting with other people and connecting with what is around us, because we are part of that. Please go ahead. Dom? You have a question?
Nadaraja Master,
Hi.
you have a question?
Hello. Good afternoon.
I don't.
Thank you for the meditation and the talk. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I just had a question, which the previous gentleman also brought up. If you go back to the previous slide.
Yeah. Previous slide. Yeah, sure. This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So would you say that intelligence is synonymous with thought, whereas consciousness is synonymous with awareness? So for example, when you're meditating, you are aware of the thoughts that are arising and passing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are not meditating, the thoughts arise and pass without the awareness, generally speaking. And therefore we confuse or we misidentify thoughts as intelligence, or the thoughts form what we understand as intelligence, whereas the consciousness is something that is the awareness of this whole phenomenon.
Yes, absolutely. I think that the confusing thing often is the psychology, the mind, the psychiatrists, they deal with the diseased mind, if you like. I mean, we are going much further than that. I mean, there is a place for psychology, of course, the cognitive behavior amongst human beings. But yeah, I would say that the day-to-day thought, they just come and go. I mean, we don't have control over that. I mean, we are quite a lot of the time we are thinking, unless we consciously divert those thoughts. They are like clouds, they come and go. And when we go beyond that, that's where, in my view, the awareness and the deeper awareness, in my view, is consciousness. In other words, awareness about the awareness. And that's what Maharishi says, awareness about the awareness. And he's very interesting. And of course, he links it with transcendental meditation. Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Right, sir, next. Please.
I shall
Doctor.
wait till you conclude, really. I don't want to interrupt.
No.
No, after you conclude, I'll ask the questions, I think.
Yes, that's better, yeah.
Sorry, I'm not with you. You have a question?
After you conclude your talk. After you conclude or finish.
Okay, fine. You want to ask a question afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. No worries. Yeah. Okay. So really, just a couple more things that I want to say before we finish, and then I'll open up for questions. Mr. and Mrs. Raja, do we have time for a short video, or are we just going to the questions straight away?
You can carry on, but is a copyright issue, anything there?
No. Everything. I mentioned the names and so on, so there shouldn't be a problem.
Because it's going live, in the YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'll take responsibility for that. It's fine. So I'll tell you what. I mean, I won't show the video because I'm sure that there will be questions.
Okay, then we'll go for question and answer session. Yeah.
Just give me a couple of minutes. So really, to conclude, what I want to say is that we are saying, what is the connection between between spirituality and consciousness. I think that spirituality, often through a particular religious tradition, is the starting point, in my view. And then we go deeper into that without getting lost in so many rituals in a particular religion. And that then gives us access to the consciousness. And then, I mean, how long does it take? I don't know. How long is a piece of string? I mean, I'm still, even as a meditation teacher and you know, having meditated for more than 30 years, I'm still scratching the surface. But it's a lovely surface to scratch. But that's my view. And every day is a learning experience, often. But you know what I think? I think we need to look for that learning experience, or be open to experience that, whatever it is. And that's what I mean by going with the flow. And you know what? When we go with the flow, I experience the conscious mind, the thinking mind, gives us some space to go a bit further than mind. And that I find very, very interesting. And I'm still scratching the surface. So there's a connection between spirituality and consciousness. We have to have both. On that note, thank you for listening, and I'll do my best to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Harish Devdar, for your excellent speech. And you have explained us how the spirituality and consciousness is related and is connected through meditation. And we are first, Kumarasamy Pillai Master will summarize the speech. After that, we'll go for a question and answer. Yeah. Thank you. Kumarasamy Pillai Master, is he here? I couldn't see him. Mr. Kumarasamy Pillai Master?
He's here.
Yeah, he's here.
But he's going to open the... Kumarasamy Pillai Master, you are here?
Start the video something or not. Okay. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இதுவரையும் ஹரிஷ் தேவ்டா அவர்கள் ஆன்மீகமும் உணர்வு நிலையும் என்ற தலைப்பில் ஒரு அரிய உரையாற்றினார். அதன் தமிழ் தொகுப்பை உங்களுக்கு வழங்க விரும்புகின்றேன். முதலாவதாக ஆன்மீகம் என்றால் என்ன என்பதை கூற விரும்புகின்றேன். ஆன்மீகம் என்பது தனி மனிதனை விட அப்பாற்பட்டது, உணர்வுகளுக்கு அப்பாற்பட்டது. இப்ப அந்த ஆன்மீக நிலையில் இருக்கும் பொழுது வழக்கமான கேள்வி கேட்கிறது, நான் யார், எதற்காக நான் இங்கே இருக்கின்றேன், எதற்காக நான் கஷ்டப்படுகின்றேன், என்னுடைய இறப்புக்கு பின்பு என்ன நடக்கிறது. இப்படியான கேள்விகளை நாங்கள் எழுப்பும் பொழுதுதான் ஆன்மீகத்துக்கான தேடலுக்கான மரவழியை தருகின்றோம். ஆன்மீகம் என்றால் கருணை நிறைந்தது, பச்சாத்தாபம் நிறைந்தது. மற்றது அண்டத்துடன் ஒரு தொடர்பை ஏற்படுத்துவது. மற்றது எப்பொழுதும் பிரபஞ்ச சக்திக்கும் எங்களுக்கும் ஒரு நெருங்கிய உறவை ஏற்படுத்துவதுதான் ஆன்மீகம். இப்ப என்னுடைய சொந்த அனுபவம் என்னவென்றால், இந்த பயணம் முடிவில்லாதது, எப்போதும் தொடர்ந்து கொண்டே இந்த பயணம் இருக்கின்றது. இந்த பயணம் மிகவும் முக்கியமானது. ஆன்மீக பயணத்துக்கு, ஆன்மீக விழிப்புணர்வுக்கு இந்த பயணம் மிக முக்கியமானது என்று இந்த ஆன்மீகத்தினால் ஏற்படும் நன்மைகள் என்ன என்று பார்த்தால், முதலாவது மன அழுத்தத்திலிருந்து நாங்கள் விடுபடுகின்றோம். அடுத்ததாக எங்களுடைய பல பாதைகளை இது எங்களுக்கு காட்டுகின்றது. மற்றது உடல் நலத்துக்கு ஆக்கபூர்வமான பங்களிப்பை இது செய்கின்றது. மற்றது ஆன்மீகம் என்ற பொழுது பொதுவாக சமயம் சார்ந்த நம்பிக்கைகளை அடிப்படையாக கொண்டு வரும். நாங்கள் சமயத்தை நாங்கள் இது சமயம் வந்து எப்படியா நிலையில் இருக்கு என்றால் சமயங்களுக்குள்ளேயே உட்பூசல் எந்த சமயம் பெரிது என்ற ஒரு மோதல் நிலையில் இன்று இருக்கின்றது. ஆகையினாலே இந்த பல ஆய்வுகள் என்ன சுட்டி காட்டுகிறது என்றால் ஆன்மீகம் வந்து சமயம் சார்ந்ததாக துவங்கி ஆனால் அதே நேரத்தில் வாழ்க்கையிலே ஏற்படுகின்ற சவால்கள் அத்தனையை முறியடிக்கிறதுக்கு இந்த ஆன்மீகம் உறுதியாக இருக்கின்றது. இதுக்கு பல உதாரணங்கள் சொல்லி உங்களுக்கு எல்லோருக்கும் தெரியும். எக்காட்டோலை என்பவரும் இதை பற்றி பலக சொல்லியிருக்கின்றார். ஆனால் இது வந்து ஆன்மீகம் என்றது எண்ணங்களுக்கு அப்பாற்பட்டது, எங்களுடைய அகங்கார நிலைக்கு அப்பாற்பட்டது. இப்ப நாங்கள் இந்த ஒரு ஆன்மீகத்துக்கு எப்படி உட்பட்டு விட்டோம் என்ற அறிகுறிகள் என்னவென்று நாங்கள் பார்த்தோம் என்றால், நாங்கள் எப்பொழுதும் வந்து நாங்கள் எதற்காக கஷ்டப்படுகின்றோம், எதற்காக வாழ்க்கைக்கு பின்பு என்ன நடக்கின்றது, இப்படியான கேள்விகள் வினாக்களை தொடுக்கும் பொழுது அப்பொழுது ஆன்மீகம் ஆரம்பமாகிவிட்டது என்று அறிகுறி. அடுத்தது வந்து ஆன்மீக நிலையிலே நாங்கள் மற்றவர்களுடைய ஒரு உறவை ஏற்படுத்துகின்றோம். மற்றவர்களுடைய உறவு ஏற்படுவது இல்லாமல் அண்டத்துடனும் ஒரு தொடர்பு ஏற்படுத்துகின்றோம். மற்றது எப்பொழுதும் வந்து வாழ்க்கையிலேயே கருணை உள்ளவர்களாக இருக்கின்றோம். மற்றவர்கள் கஷ்டப்படும் பொழுது அதை பார்த்து பச்சாத்தாபம் அடைகின்றோம். மற்றது உணர்வுகளுக்கு மற்றவர்கள் உணர்வுகளுக்கு பாலத்தை அமைக்கின்றோம். மற்றது எங்களுடைய சந்தோஷம் வந்து பொருளை சார்ந்ததாக இருக்காது என்ற பொருளுக்கு அப்பாற்பட்ட ஒரு உறவை ஏற்படுத்துவதற்கு விளைகின்றோம். மற்றது வாழ்க்கையிலே ஒரு வாழ்க்கையின் நோக்கம் என்ன என்ற ஒரு அர்த்தம் புரிவுன்றது. அடுத்து எப்பொழுதும் வந்து உலகத்திலே நாங்கள் எப்பொழுது ஒரு நல்ல நிலை இருக்க வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை ஏற்படுத்தி கொண்டே இருக்கின்றது. அடுத்ததாக நாங்கள் எப்படி நாங்கள் ஆன்மீகத்துடன் தொடர்பு ஏற்படுத்தலாம் என்றால் நிச்சயமாக ஒன்று வந்து தியானம், அடுத்தது வந்து ஆழ்ந்த சிந்தனை, மற்றது வழிபாடுதல், மற்றது சமூகத்துக்கு சேவை செய்தல், தன்னார்வ தொண்டர்களாக மாறுவது, மற்றது இயற்கையுடன் இணைந்து நாங்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் நடத்துவது, மற்றது யோகா பயிற்சி செய்கின்றது. இப்படியான ஈடுபடும் பொழுது நாங்கள் ஆன்மீகத்தை வலுப்படுத்திக் கொள்ளலாம். மற்றது உணர்வு நிலையை எப்படி நாங்கள் பார்க்கிறோம் என்றால், உணர்வு நிலையை எப்படி சொல்றோம் என்றால் மனத்திற்கும் இறைவனுக்கும் இருக்க தொடர்பு என்றே கூடலாம். உணவு என்றது வந்து உணர்வு நிலைக்கும் அதுக்கு ஏற்படுத்துகின்ற பதிலுக்கும் தான் இந்த விழிப்பு உணர்வு நிலை என்று கூறுகின்றேன். மற்றது உணர்வு நிலை என்றது வந்து உள்ளார்ந்த அனுபவம் ஏற்படும். சில நேரங்களில் உள்ளுக்கு நமக்குள்ளே ஏற்படும் அனுபவங்களும் உணர்வுகள் சார்ந்தப்பட்டதாக இருக்கும். ஆகையினாலே எப்பொழுதும் வந்து உணர்வு நிலைக்கு எப்படியான முக்கியமாக என்றால் வந்து இப்ப மூன்றாக பிரிக்கின்றாலும், ஒன்று வந்து எளிமையான உணர்வு நிலை, சுய எழுநிலை, மற்ற அண்டம் சார்ந்த உணர்வு நிலை. அடுத்ததாக வந்து நாங்கள் எப்பொழுதும் வந்து விழிப்புணர்வை இப்ப பல புத்தகம் எழுதியிருக்கின்றார்கள். கேள்வி போன்ற இந்த மூன்றாக பிரிக்கின்றார். ஒன்று சாதாரணமான விழிப்பு நிலை, அடுத்தது விழிப்பு நிலை, அது வந்து உயர்ந்த நிலை, அடுத்தது வந்து விழிப்பு நிலையை பற்றிய விழிப்பு நிலை என்று இப்படி பலவிதமான கருத்துக்களை நான் உங்களுக்கு பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள விரும்புகின்றேன். முக்கியம் அடுத்ததாக வந்து எப்பொழுதும் வந்து தொடர்பு ஏற்படுத்த வேண்டும் என்றால் முதலாவது வந்து உள்ளுக்கு ஒரு உள்ளார்ந்த அகநிலையிலே ஒரு விழிப்பு நிலை வேண்டும், மற்றது ஒரு தெளிவு வேண்டும். மற்றது எப்பொழுதும் வந்து ஒரு காரியத்தை செய்த பொழுது எந்த விதமான பிரதிபலனும் எதிர்பார்க்காமல் வாழ்க்கையிலே நடக்கின்ற பொழுது அப்பொழுதுதான் ஆன்மீகம் வருகின்றது. அடுத்தது வந்து எப்பொழுதும் வாழ்க்கையிலே நாங்கள் நன்றி உணர்வுடன் வாழ கற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டும். அது வந்து ஆன்மீகம் சார்ந்த வாழ்க்கைக்கு மிக முக்கியமானது ஒன்று நன்றி உணர்வு. அடுத்ததாக நாங்கள் தியானம் செய்ய வேண்டும். அடுத்து நீண்ட ஆழ்ந்த சிந்தனையில் இருக்க வேண்டும். மற்றது எப்பொழுதும் வந்து ஒரு நிலைக்காக ஒன்றுதான் தெய்வம், ஒரே நிலை என்ற ஒரு கருத்து ஊன்றியதாக இருக்க வேண்டும். எப்பொழுதும் வந்து மக்களுடனும் அண்டத்துடனும் ஒரு தொடர்பை ஏற்படுத்தி வாழ்க்கையில வாழ வேண்டும். அடுத்ததாக வந்து உணர்வு நிலையை ஏழு பிரிவுகளாக பிரிக்கின்றார்கள். முதலாவது விழிப்பு நிலை, அடுத்தது வந்து கனல் நிலை, அடுத்தது வந்து உறக்க நிலை, அடுத்தது கடந்து செல்லும் நிலை, அடுத்தது அண்டத்தின் அண்டம், அடுத்தது ஆறாவதாக இறைவனை சார்ந்தது, மற்றது ஒற்றுமை சார்ந்தது. இதிலிருந்து நாங்கள் என்ன பார்த்தோம்னா ரெண்டுக்கும் ஆன்மீகத்துக்கும் உணர்வு நிலைக்கும் தொடர்பு ஏற்படுத்தி கொண்டு வருவதற்காக நான் முயற்சி செய்தேன். நான் கடந்த 30 ஆண்டுகளாக தியானம் செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறேன். ஆனால் இப்பவும் எனக்கு அதற்கு இந்த கேள்விகளுக்கு விடை கிடைக்கவில்லை. தொடர்ந்து ஆராய்வு செய்து கொண்டே இருக்கின்றேன். திறந்த மனத்துடன் நான் இந்த ஆய்வில் ஈடுபட்டுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறேன். நன்றி இந்த வாய்ப்பு.
Unmute பண்ணணும். Unmute please.
I have unmuted.
Yeah, thank you very much, Harish Devdas and Varsai Pulla Master, for excellent translation about Harish's speech. And Harish, you have explained it very well, how the spirituality and this, how we have to connect it with everything. Then only once we meditate, then we will know how to connect with the nature, and then how we behave ourselves. Then it can take to our meditation will help us. And I thought you have been meditating 25 years. I'm sorry, you have been meditating for the last 30 years. So you have so much knowledge about the meditation. Thank you so much. There are so many people are there. They have raised hand for their questions. So let them ask you questions. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Baba Master, you can start.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harish Devda, and also greetings to your wife sitting next to you. Thank you. I'm not going to ask you any questions because it is simply you explained your PowerPoint in a very simplified version. Very simplified version. Either we know something already, we understood everything, or for other people, I think I stay, as you said, you stay at a lower level and look at it. I think it should be understood by many people, in my view. The punchline of the talk is you mentioned that spirituality is like a root of a tree. That said itself at the beginning of your speech. And when you are sharing your own experience, you said you do a short prayer before every time you meditate. That is something I don't do. I probably practice it. But in this platform, we do before every activity, we do meditate, then do that activity. So, you know, so that is something I'm taking home. And you mentioned about the 8 signs of spirituality. It's funny enough, the very first one, I don't think about it. I don't think about suffering. I don't think about death, right? I do not know, because it's the very first one, I do not know whether I have a long way to reach my destination in this spirituality. That's one thing. The other thing is you mentioned about 7 types of signs for spirituality. That I completely agree with that. And you also mentioned about that is the consciences. When you came to consciences, you talk about it is a subjective experience and is only available from inside, which is a great thing. Very good. And I learned about 3 different consciousness: simple, self, and cosmic. I believe in the cosmic consciousness. I do believe 100%. I probably go and refer Ken Wilber's book. You also mentioned about 5 different characteristics of spiritual consciousness. Very informative and teaching. The last thing I like about you is, I think you have reached your level, you know, the way you are talking. When this person was giving you trouble, your tenant or whoever it is, your property in London, right? And you went to the legal side of it and you got your property back. I'm glad about that. But what you said was, in speech marks, I wish him well. You know, that is a great thing to say.
Easy, I tell you, it wasn't easy because my anger was raging.
That's what I'm telling. I emphasize on this one. After all those trouble, I wish him well.
The freeholder, actually, it wasn't the tenant. The tenant is easy, you know. It was the freeholder, the guy who.
Oh, sorry.
More power.
Right.
The property law in this country, in the UK, is such that whoever owns the land has got so much power,
Correct.
and so it's very antiquated.
Oh, I
And-
see. Okay.
But
What-
you know, the result was positive at the end.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Whatever the subject is now, what you said is still stands. You know, I wish you well.
Yes, of course.
That was a great thing.
Thank
And
you.
I
Thank you.
really thank you very much for your lovely speech. By the way, is Harish Kumar Harish Kumar, the person, Dom. Is he?
Yeah,
is he-
Dom is my son.
right. Okay. But I thought it was Dom HK. I thought Dom is calling from Hong Kong. Then I started.
All right.
I started to chat with him about my railway, Kowloon Canton railway experience in Hong Kong. And he said, no, I am not from Hong Kong. I am Harish Kumar. He said, then I realized he is your son. Thank you very much. Thank you.
He's from South Africa, right?
Sorry?
He's from South Africa.
He
Your
lives in
son.
South Africa. Yeah, he's here, you know, for a few weeks, spending
Okay,
some
okay.
quality time with us, and it's always a pleasure to
Thank you.
see him.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, Dr. Narrasi Jagannathan from Ilford, East London. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Harish Devda. Very inspiring talk indeed, as you always deliver. I am very skeptical about psychologists as a psychiatrist, you must be wondering, because they want to always trying to, I don't know, outscore us or whatever. The reason I'm mentioning is because it's relevant to what you also delivered in your talk. You know, one of the benefits you said can cope with the challenge. Yesterday, I attended a Zoom meeting. It's held by a psychology group. Mind Your Mind, it's called. They were talk on AQ, adversity quotient. So that is can cope with the challenge. Likewise, in your power presentation, the spiritual consciousness, that word, sorry, the AQ was coined in 2004 or something like that. Then spiritual consciousness is synonymous with emotional IQ. Well, that was coined in 1997. My, what is the right word? Not annoyance, but the way I look at it is, why don't psychologists explore on conscience? I was thinking when you're delivering it, whether your topic should be like spirituality and conscience rather than consciousness. None of this, I have never read anything. All the spiritual meetings I go, nobody talks about conscience. I delivered a talk last Saturday. It was in Tamil. So obviously, you know, it won't be very beneficial to you. I'm not trying to say that to brag me, but the conscience is what helps me towards leading my life. Second point is, you know, all what we are doing now in Zoom and discussing is unique to human beings. Animals can't do. So what you described as functional awareness and response is body consciousness, only animals can. Anything beyond human being, proper human being, not all human beings. So if you are proper human being, then we should qualify to achieve that. That is enlightenment in another way. So talking about enlightenment, you also mentioned about deeper truth. I was just telling in the earlier morning's discussion, what is deeper truth? Anything less than the deeper truth is Maya, illusion. That's simple as that.
Yes.
Finally, the focus on oneness. I don't know how many of you are interested in music. In the 1970s, you must have heard about Carlos Santana and John McLaughlin. They released the album called Oneness. I didn't have a clue what oneness meant then in the 1970s. Well, I became a fan in the 1980s. So I got an album, and one of the songs is called Love Supreme. So oneness, now I know what it means. So in other words, you actually finished your talk, focus on oneness. So when I hear about this word oneness, I expect back to my old memories about Carlos Santana. He's actually a wonderful guitarist anyway.
Yes.
So if you listen to his music, is meditation. There you are. Most of my meditation is like listening to this music.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to Carlos Santana's music, I'm sure you will meditate. Not
Well,
only meditate, you'll get up and dance as well. So such inspiring music is.
Well, I've
So
learned
I
a lot of
finished now,
salsa.
but it was a very
with
inspiring
Pama.
talk. Thank you very much. But as I said, a lot of these terms like, emotional intelligence, and yesterday I heard this called adversity question. There you are. Psychologists come with all these terms. It all boils down to the intelligence. That's as simple as that. But conscience is something I am passionate about learning more. So if you could next time, give us a talk on that, I'll be very much eager to listen. Anyway, thanks again.
Okay, thank you. If I can just respond, just very, very briefly. You're quite right about psychologists, because I think, to me personally, I mean, I'm not a psychologist. This is just my observation, and
that's why I attacked about it. I wouldn't have attacked if you were a psychologist.
Yeah, psychologists, in my view, use their cerebral skills and activities and so on. I'm particularly interested. I think, to me personally, mind is a very powerful instrument that we can use in a given situation to solve problems. But to learn more about life, to learn more about living, and some of the things that we've been talking about, spirituality and consciousness, we need to go beyond that, because mental cerebral activities are dualistic, whereas topics like spirituality and consciousness is non-dual. It's going beyond the mind. And so thank you for pointing that out. And secondly, the conscience, I think it's I'm just exploring here with you. It's to do with it feelings led in some ways, and we look within and say, right, this is not right because I don't feel right about it. And I think that when we have conscience, we are listening to ourselves. We are listening to maybe the healthy part of ourselves, healthy part of our mind. And we're looking at the higher self of ourselves, which we all have, and we need to have access to that. And
I have nothing against them. I hope they
I
have nothing against them. But what I feel is mind is something of an unknown. So anybody can come with any theory or any principle. So it's up to people to take it or leave it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next we have Tama and Tara Nathan from Edgeware, London. Thank you.
Please carry on.
Can you unmute Tara, Master, please?
Okay, sorry. Greetings to all. It was a very good explanation, Mr. Harris Devna. Congratulations. I just have one question. When you get anesthesia, what happens to the consciousness, please?
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't have any experience of that, but I can guess that, I think that the consciousness is hidden, maybe. And, for us to make sense of the earlier experience of consciousness, we need our mind maybe to take us there. And this is where, I mean, this is a very powerful question. Thank you for that. I don't really have a full answer to that. I'm just guessing here that
Jagannathan will answer, I think. Jagannathan is waiting for you.
Yeah. If you listen to Sadhguru having a chat with the board of anesthetists in UK, in YouTube, is available. You will get the answer.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, but a very powerful question, and thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
Ramanathan, you want to ask any questions or any comments? Okay, thank you very much.
Talk, we know a little bit about the spirituality. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. And
please, Dom, please, you can carry on. Dom.
Hi. So I'm not sure if there was some people before me, but I just had I guess, kind of reflection on on the previous gentleman, or the one before, regarding psychology. And one thing which I quite enjoyed about I didn't study psychology formally, but I have an interest in psychology. And one of my kind of favorite psychologists is Carl Jung, because I find that he refers a lot to many of his kind of concepts and ideas which kind of connect with spirituality in my experience, particularly around the collective, I think it's the collective unconsciousness, where he talks about like archetypes and sort of things beyond personality, which he connect very much in the kind of spiritual realm, because archetypes are ideas or kind of concepts where everybody can connect to and relate to, regardless of their kind of religion or philosophical point of view. So I don't know if that necessarily relates to the talk, but that was something I was kind of reflecting on.
Yeah, I mean, if I can just quickly respond to that, Dom. I mean, I've read a little bit about Carl Jung. He's on my list to read as per our conversation a few days ago. I mean, you know, what I learned from Carl Jung, just very, very briefly, is about psychological types. And Dom, as you know, I'm an Enneagram practitioner. And Enneagram is basically looking at personality types and enabling my clients to go beyond their personality. And some of the things that we talked about is relevant because I think that, you know, our personality, quite a lot of our personality is to do with identification with our ego. And when you go beyond that, then it becomes really interesting as a human being. We multiply our capacity to learn and to create insights, and sometimes even beyond thinking. And I think that Carl Jung made it possible for that. And in his unconscious, you know, his work on unconsciousness, you know, is very, very powerful. And I know that Carl Jung fell out with Sigmund Freud because he didn't like some of the Sigmund Freud's theories and so on. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe you know, in future, you know, there could be a talk on that, and maybe Mr. and Mrs. Raja can invite an expert to talk about that. And I would really be interested in listening to that talk. But thank you for pointing that out.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Saroja Devi Sundarlingam Master from Sydney, Australia.
Greetings to everyone who have joined in this meditation forum today. And congratulations and a great thank you to Harish Devda for your wonderful presentation of this very broad and deep subject within a short time allocated to you. Actually, I was wondering, you know, how you could bring in as the explanation together within this short time, because I consider this as a very broad and deep subject. Thank you very much for a very concise and very well done talk today. And from what, with my little bit of understanding of spirituality and consciousness I have been able to enrich my knowledge today. Now, spirituality, you said, is a belief that there is something greater than us. True, yes. Something greater than us, connecting everything or all beings in the world. We believe in that. Something great is there. Okay. Then consciousness. Now, you were discussing now about psychological aspects and all that. My understanding was that it's an awareness or perception. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong. Awareness or perception of an inward psychological, spiritual fact. An inward psychological or spiritual. It's an awareness or perception. That is how I feel about it. Consciousness. when we say. So when we develop this spiritual consciousness, we gain a knowledge of our inner self, connecting with our subconscious and conscious mind. Am I right or wrong? That's a kind of understanding I got from when I listened to you as well.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I think it's, it's a very, very interesting that what you have raised, interesting question, and I think it could lead to another talk actually. But just briefly, I think that just judging by what Dom said a little bit about consciousness and unconsciousness, what Carl Jung pointed out, and I think that often things come out of our unconsciousness that can be very useful if you learn to examine it, if we learn to observe it. I mean, what I'm particularly interested in is, okay, psychology will teach us quite a lot, okay? Psychology can teach us the sort of interaction between the mind and the brain, etc., which is, that's a very interesting area. What I'm particularly interested in as a meditator, as a meditation teacher, is, how do we go beyond that? Because if we are not careful, the mind will take over. Yeah, it often does. And one thing, and again, it is a struggle. It's a struggle to identify what is egoic and what is not. When we are angry, the chances are our ego is taken over. And it's learning to observe ourselves. And this is, my practice of Enneagram, which if you get a chance, visit my YouTube channel and just see some of the introduction videos on Enneagram. We haven't got time here. Maybe one day I'll come back and talk about Enneagram and we can throw light on this. Enneagram is basically psycho-spiritual approach to personal growth. Maybe that will be a good topic to explore, and I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy to come back. I hope I've answered your question just a little bit.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I have something else to say, that is, we have grown up as, when we were brought up, religion played a very important role in our life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as religious people, as you said, I think you mentioned that we depend on spirituality to cope with adversities or challenges in our lives.
Yes.
Right. That is true, because we go into prayer. Now, we believe in religion. We are taught to pray. Whenever you face adversity or any challenge, you pray and you will get the answer. That is how we were brought up. Yeah. Now, in this stage where we have come to a spiritual consciousness now, I will say that after coming into this meditation forum, I have gained some kind of a spiritual consciousness through meditation, which, from above prayer, there's something else that is influencing us. Our spiritual level has risen. Okay. Now, we tend to get some satisfied. We develop compassion, empathy, and also we become service-minded to the community. We believe that unconditional service to the community is very important for our inner peace and also happiness. Is that this is the kind of realization I have gained, I think. I hope this is the correct path I'm going in. I just want you to enlighten me on that, please.
It is the correct part, because, what I've been listening to you last few minutes is your wisdom, and your wisdom has come out of your practice, and the practice of meditation is so powerful. And the more we recognize this within ourselves, the more purity we will display in our day-to-day life towards our family, towards our neighbors, towards other people. My personal view is that we will never be perfect, because to be totally enlightened in this world, in this samsara, where most of the things are dualistic, we would find it difficult to survive. Okay, so it's becoming aware of the duality, and in spite of that, to be wholesome in our behavior. And if we mess it up, if we get it wrong, to forgive ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, because we don't want to carry that burden. You know, someone said to me that, if you don't forgive yourself, you are carrying lots of monkeys on your shoulders. Is that what you want? To the extent that you start bending and you won't be able to walk. That's a very good analogy. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for your explanation. Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Sada Mano from Enfield, UK.
Greetings to all. First of all, I want to not to forget to thank Kumarasamy Pillai Master for his excellent translation. Thank you. And as usual, Harish Devda, your speech with powerful PowerPoint presentation was brilliant. And last few minutes discussion gave me more eye-opening. That was brilliant too. But with that, I just want to announce a few of our meetings things. Tonight, we have at 8 o'clock, Mr. Leela Krishna Kona from UK. He will deliver his speech on an interesting topic, unleashing our creativity genius. Please try and take part in this program and gain his wisdom too. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 28th June, Sushila from UK will deliver her speech on her journey to King's Chamber. Again, as mentioned earlier, I just wanted to elaborate on that. King's Chamber, actually, it is an important aspect of pyramid meditation, and we would be able to benefit listening to her personal experience too. 11 Linga Lingaratnam Master from Sydney, Australia, will deliver his speech on his own experience from his visit to famous temples in Tamil Nadu and his experience as a result of them. Please try and join in all the meetings to gain their wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sada Master. Thank you very much. Next, we have Kumarasamy Pillai Master from Sydney. Thank you very much.
Greetings to all. Firstly, I would like to thank Harish for his very inspiring and informative speech. Actually, you have done some research and given a PowerPoint presentation, which is very clear. And my understanding about spirituality is actually it is beyond religion. It's not religion, as many people think. Actually, I don't personally connect religion and spirituality. Spirituality is something to do with the thoughts, feelings, and emotions. For example, one of the main things is being empathetic is very important, compassionation. All these things stem from a spiritual person, but a religious person may not be empathetic towards somebody, because my own experience, religion is based on various rituals, actually. Rituals sometimes contradict with some of these concepts of spirituality. Because spirituality is basically how we look at others, how we help others, how we get involved with the society, that type of thinking. So a man can be spiritual without being religious. That is my concept.
Yes.
Because that's a wrong, erroneous thinking in the society. Being religious means you must be spiritual. That actually that they are torn apart. One can be religious, but not spiritual. But spirituality is beyond everything. You can be religious or non-religious or any sort of thing. So spiritual life is very important. It's important for all of us because that involves meditation and all sorts of social norms. So that's the very thing that we are connected. Actually, consciousness or awareness, this is part of spirituality. So
yes,
when we observe our breath, this is spirituality. So thank you for a very, very wonderful presentation.
Most welcome, sir. And thank you for really, thank you for showing the difference or the distinction between spirituality and religion. And I just want to make a very quick point about spiritual materialism. And spiritual materialism stays in the religious norm, in the sense that it doesn't go further into spirituality. It's like saying that, oh, I'm a very good person because I do X, Y, Z. And guess what? The ego takes over. So that's what spiritual materialism is. The spiritual materialism is in the name of spirituality, just the name of spirituality, you get engaged in personal gain, either in praise or making money or whatever.
Yeah, people spend money to get
Understand by spiritual materialism.
Correct, you're right.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you very much. Next, Mr. and Mrs. Lingaratnam from Sydney, Australia. Thank you.
Thank you. Greetings to everyone. Thank you very much, Harris, for your transformational speech. And really, we learned many things, and all have answered nicely. And let me summarize what I learned today. Spirituality is a journey to self-realization, and you practice many things like empathy or many other things, okay, day-to-day life. And I think the final, self-realized once you go beyond mind. So when you are in the spirituality, the journey of the spirituality, you have some ego, not in a small form, but when you go beyond mind, you become saint. That's why Aristotle, the philosopher, says, once you go beyond mind, you become sane. That's a transcendental meditation, all that will, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that my personal view is that initially, many people find it quite frightening to go beyond the mind because it's going into the unknown. And I remember when I was teaching management science to students and mature people, including managers and so on. And when you talk about some of these things, they said, well, I mean, how can I do this? Business is all based on business practices and so on. How can I do beyond that? I said, try it out and see what happens. Because for you to become authentic as to who you are and why you are here on this earth, you really need to look within yourself. And if you're in your mind all the time, many of us are in our mind quite a lot of the time, but we can go beyond that. Okay. And, it was mentioned about conscience and so on. I mean, quite a lot of it is really going a little bit beyond our thinking. Okay. How we feel, So yeah, what you said is absolutely correct, and thank you for pointing that out. It's a wonderful reminder.
Thank you.
Greetings for everybody. Thank you for your excellent presentation. We have learned that spirituality is leading a happy life without harming anybody with our thought, word, or deed, and living with gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, and empathy. And spirituality is same for all the religion. It is interconnected, and it is the root of a tree. And it is spirituality is connected to the conscious, that is God. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Dr. Sri Skanda. Thank you.
Yes. Now that we have spoken about the mind and getting rid of the mind, this is exactly the prescription that Ramana Maharishi has said. That is, when you look out or with an extrospection, you see the world. And when you see inwards, you see the ego of I, and that I brings about thoughts, and the thought processes brings about the mind. But more than that, if you reduce your extrospection, where you look at the world and see the world, if you withdraw from the world and look inside, and you look at your inner self, the I will become silent, or you will go to the source of your thoughts. And your source of the thoughts is the self with a capital S. And that self is no different from whatever the name that you want to give. It may be God, it may be Shivam, or it may be Atman, or whatever it is. It is the source within you that you have to latch on and keep. And if you do that, your mind will not go out looking for objects and seeing objects. So when the subject becomes almost the same,
Yes.
There you realize a lot of things. That's what I gather. But it seems to be, theoretically, it seems to be a tenable thing to me.
Well, thank
That's
you.
all I wanted to say.
Thank you for your comments. I mean, I really agree with you, and the way you put it so eloquently. And I mean, just a little bit I want to point out about the mind is the mind. I think I mentioned earlier that mind is a very powerful instrument if used correctly. At the same time, it can be very nasty, vicious if we use incorrectly. And this is what happens during the war. And so on. And I think, to me personally, it's lacking in consciousness. And so many people's lives are destroyed, and so many things are destroyed. And to me personally, it's almost going against the, humanity of people. So we as humanity have quite a lot to learn. And spirituality and consciousness will play a big part in us human beings becoming transformed.
Yeah.
And we can keep scratching the surface again and again and again.
Thank you. Thank you. Babu
And some of
Shamanara
the example.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Master, coming back to me, giving the opportunity again. It's a quick one, because I am taking this from Mr. Harris Davda. I just mentioned his management training to the people, to the entrepreneurs, right? Steve Jobs, the Apple founder, right?
Yes.
If you look at him, he is very much great into spirituality. He said to his engineers, do your work with passion. He taught his the spirituality thing to all his engineers, and you can now see that, right? Apple products.
Yeah.
Who hates it? You just look at it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So I just want to mention that to you. Yeah. Steve Jobs. I
gave
gave
Steve Jobs consciousness in all his products.
Yes.
I use Apple computer. I use iPhone. I wouldn't use anything else because the quality is
absolutely. I gave a talk on this platform. I gave a talk.
Apple. Yeah.
I gave a talk on Steve Jobs about him in this platform some time ago. Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Dr. Sri Skanda, you can speak again.
In relation to the mind and the consciousness, I would reiterate again, the examples given by Ramana Maharishi is that your states of wakefulness, or your state of dream, or if your state of deep sleep, all these through your consciousness prevails, or something in the background prevails, and that is described in Mandukya Upanishad as the fourth state, the Turiya state. And this self, or this self can be felt when you become silent in not allowing the mind to project the world or seek the world. And if you become silent and quiet, the outside world or the mind become quiescent. When the mind become quiescent and you ask your question, who am I? And who is asking these, thinking of all these problems? If you think in those lines, you will slowly reach that state of knowing the self, or knowing the awareness or the consciousness within you. Because you are the happiness and you are there, but we have forgotten that, and we are identifying with ourselves with the body or the mind or your intellect. But yourself, that pure consciousness or awareness is already happy within you. We have forgotten, and because we are projecting ourselves to the outside world, objects and objective, the world as such, we are getting into the cycles of feelings, of emotions, of pain and happiness together. It comes in a mixture. But if you quieten yourself and look inwards and stay at the source, you will be happy forever.
Fine, perfect. Thank you so much for that wisdom. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The time is 10 p.m. in Sydney. Dr. Narasa, you can speak now. Unmute yourself, please.
One line. Don't worry about getting rid of your mind. In Tamil, there is a term called Maram Marathupoch. That means the mind has become wooden. Well, if you, I'm sure you all have experienced it some stage. If you reach that, forget about getting rid of your mind. So that is called Maram Marathupoch, means mind has become wooden. You know what it means, isn't it? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Haris Devda, for your informative session. Very, very good. We'll see you again next month, maybe when you are free, you know?
Yes, of course. And it's been my absolute pleasure and joy to be amongst you. And I've learned a lot from you also. Thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you very much. We'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. with meditation and a good speaker he's from Croydon, I think, yeah. Thank you very much thank you very much indeed. Thank you. We'll see you again. Thank you. At 8 p.m. UK time.